In many ancient spiritual traditions, particularly those we now call Gnostic, the story of creation is not as straightforward as we often hear. They imagined a being known as the Demiurge. This was not the ultimate all-knowing God, but rather a lesser, secondary creator. Think of the Demiurge as a powerful but imperfect artisan, a craftsman who shaped our physical world, arising from a higher realm yet ignorant of its own origins. It believed itself to be the one and only God, a fundamental mistake shaping the material universe. Responsible for the laws of nature, the cycle of birth and death, the very matter that makes up our bodies and our world. This Demiurge, Yaldabaoth, child of chaos, not necessarily malicious. Its actions were born from ignorance and profound arrogance. It looked upon the cosmos and declared there were no other gods before it. Gnostics saw this not as ultimate truth, but as the boast of a limited being blind to higher reality. The world it made reflected its nature, flawed, confining, and ultimately a prison for divine sparks trapped in humans. Contrast this with the God of Genesis. All-powerful, all-knowing, inherently good. His creation deliberate and declared good at every stage. No higher reality he is ignorant of. He is the ultimate source of all things. The Demiurge, a cosmic accident, a powerful but blind ruler of a lower realm. God of faith, perfect wisdom and love to be worshipped. Demiurge, obstacle to overcome, a jailer whose world must be transcended to reach true spiritual understanding and return to the higher realm of light. This explains the Gnostic view. Suffering, chaos, injustice in the physical realm, not parts of a divine plan. They are predictable outcomes of an imperfect creator. Goal, not worship the flawed creator but seek hidden knowledge, gnosis, that would allow the spirit to awaken. Awakening lets the soul remember its divine origin, eventually escape the Demiurge's material prison, bypass its cosmic gatekeepers to ascend to the unknowable true God of the spiritual plane. Long before the name became synonymous with evil, Lucifer had a very different meaning. In Latin, the name Lucifer literally translates to light bringer, morning star. It was the term Romans used for the planet Venus, the bright celestial body that appears just before sunrise, heralding the coming of daylight. This original identity had nothing to do with a fallen angel or king of hell. It was a symbol of hope, illumination, and the dawn of a new day. In some early Gnostic interpretations, this lightbringer was woven into their spiritual narratives. They saw the story from the Garden of Eden not as a fall from grace, but as a crucial first step toward liberation. The serpent in the garden, encouraging Adam and Eve at the tree of knowledge, was sometimes viewed as a positive, illuminating figure. This entity was not a tempter leading humanity to sin, but a messenger of wisdom. By encouraging humans to defy the Demiurge, the jealous creator who wanted to keep them ignorant, this figure was acting as a Lucifer, a bringer of the light of knowledge or gnosis. This perspective completely inverts the traditional telling of the story. In this view, the God who forbids Adam and Eve from the tree is the ignorant Demiurge, seeking to keep his creations in blissful, unknowing servitude. The supposed tempter is actually a spiritual helper. It is important to separate this early mythic figure from later theological constructions. The original Lucifer was a symbol, representing the principle that knowledge, even forbidden knowledge, is the key to spiritual awakening and human consciousness. The character we know today as Satan is largely a composite figure assembled over centuries by church theologians to serve a specific purpose. The name Satan originates from Hebrew Hey Satan, meaning the adversary or accuser. In early Hebrew texts like the Book of Job, this was not a singular cosmic evil being, rather it was a title, a role played by an angelic being in God's divine court. This Satan was an agent of God, a celestial prosecutor, not a rebel king ruling a fiery underworld. The transformation was gradual, influenced by changing political and religious climates. As Christianity defined itself, theologians began to merge figures, Satan from Job, the rebellious dragon from Revelation, the serpent from Genesis, and the Greek god Pan with his goat-like features, into a single terrifying entity embodying rebellion, temptation, sin, and ultimate evil. This is where Lucifer was co-opted. A passage from Isaiah lamenting a Babylonian king was rendered as Lucifer in the Latin Vulgate. Early church fathers reinterpreted this political allegory as a literal account of a proud angel being cast out of heaven. Through this leap, the Lightbringer was recast as the Prince of Darkness. This unified villain served a powerful function, creating a clear cosmic enemy to blame for suffering and a terrifying consequence for disobedience. Complex, nuanced figures were flattened into simple good versus evil, with Satan wearing the mask of Lucifer. Understanding these distinctions reveals how stories can be reshaped to serve institutional agendas. The transformation demonstrates how a symbol of knowledge can become a symbol of sin. For Gnostics, these figures represented liberation, the courage to seek knowledge beyond boundaries set by a limited creator. This becomes a powerful allegory for intellectual and spiritual freedom against systems that control through ignorance. Recognizing these characters encourages us to ask critical questions about the stories we are told. By untangling Lucifer from Satan, we reclaim a symbol of intellectual courage and recognize that the adversary is sometimes a necessary challenger of a flawed status quo.